Hello and welcome to my forge. Today we're going back to the north of Westeros. Half of Winterfells Guard of Honour is completed, if you take the converted Robb Stark miniature into account. In this week's video it's time for the next relatives of the Starks. I'm not speaking about the Tullys, but the Karstarks, who are a branch of House Stark. I'll tell you about this later. As in the other videos, there's also a second miniature, one member of House Ryswell. However, there is no footage about this one because I didn't make any, and at this point I never thought about making videos. The miniatures I'm using are Stark Sworn Swords, as you can already see. So let's create Torrhen Karstark from a nameless guardsman. As always, everything starts with disassembling. I take off the arms, which are quite easy to remove. Also, the head is cut away and the surface smoothed with a knife. The wolf on the tabard is also removed, for the Karstarks has a blazing sun as a sigil. A new head comes from the White Wolves of Middenheim from Games Workshop. I still had one left in my bits box, and years ago I used this kind of head for building Rickard Karstark for my Bretonnian army. The head is now ready for assembly and I start changing the arms. The right shoulder is cut away and the arm is replaced by an Oathmark dwarf's arm. Sounds strange using a dwarf's arm. Don't ask me why, but these arms fit quite good. I have to take away a small piece of the shoulder so the arm can be better glued in the new position. The edges are smoothed so the tabard will look better when painted. As mentioned before, I use a dwarf's arm. However, in my opinion, the axe doesn't work with the rest of the miniature, so this must be changed too. Again, Fireforge gives us the new one. I'm using an arm with lance from the Northman Cavalry box of their Forgotten World series. The lance is also a good shaft for the axe, it just have to be shortened to the right length. A new axe blade comes from Reaper. The parts are connected with brass wire, and this axe blade is, by the way, the same axe I used for my mounted Karstark years ago. If you want to see the model, just let me know in the comments. Hand and arm are plastic, so my glue would weld the two parts together, but to make the connection stronger, I use brass wire. In the end, also the left arm has to go, and it's time to use the saw again. As before, I use a dwarf arm to replace the old one. This time it's the arm of a bowman. I never equipped my dwarfs with bows, so there are plenty left of these. As a last step, the right arm is glued into place because it's raised high into the air and it's not blocking the way during painting. And in addition, you have a place where you can touch the miniature if you're not using a painting handle. And here the conversions of the two miniatures. The member of House Ryswell is Roger Ryswell. Some words about the miniature. I also used the Stark Sworn Sword, from which I removed the arms and the head. The shoulders are from Oathmark dwarves, the left arm is Fireforge, and the right arm is the one from the Sworn Sword. The head is unmistakably a Bretonnian helmet from Games Workshop. So let's start painting. House Karstark's coat of arms is a white sun in a black field, so the colors are set, as always for miniatures from a distinctive series. As mentioned earlier, House Karstark, who were formerly called Starks of Karhold, are a branch of House Stark. They are descendants from the First Men. Founder of the house was Karlon Stark, one of the younger sons of the Winter King, who suppressed a rebellion of Houses Bolton and Grey Stark. Who were also a branch of House Stark reigning from White Harbor. As a reward, Karlon Stark was granted lands and built the fortress of Karl's Hold, which shortened to Karhold as time went by. At the start of the War of the Five Kings, Rickard Karstark and his sons join Robb Stark. Rickard's oldest son and heir, Harrion, gets command over the spearmen of his house and is under the command of Roose Bolton. The twins, Torrhen and Eddard, are chosen to be part of Robb's companions. So, if I would stick to the story, I must build 2 Karstarks, but 1 is enough. Both Torrhen and Eddard are killed in the Battle of Whispering Woods by Jaime Lannister. Rickard Karstark demands his head for this, but Jaime is a too valuable hostage. House Ryswell reigns over the lands called the Rills, which is an area between the Barrowlands and the Stony Shore. Their coat of arms is a black horse head with red eyes and mane on a brown field in a black frame. First rulers of the Rills were the Riders, as kings of the First Men. They later became vassals of the Winter Kings of House Stark. It is not known how the Ryswells came to be rulers of the Rills, but it is said that King Theon Stark had to subdue a rebellion in this area, so you can assume it was in the course of this rebellion that House Ryswell came to power. Lord Rodrik Ryswell was hoping to gain a better position for his family by marrying his youngest daughter into House Stark. This failed because Brandon Stark was betrothed to Catelyn Tully, and after his death Catelyn was wed to Eddard Stark. In the story of the 79 Sentinels, 79 men of the Night's Watch deserted their posts, turned outlaw, and fled to the south. One of them was the youngest son of House Ryswell. When he and the group reached the lands of House Ryswell, they sought refuge at his father's home. But instead of helping his youngest son, the old lord captured the deserters and sent them back to the Wall, where they were buried alive in the Wall to guard it forever. In later years, the old Lord Ryswell took the Black and left for the Wall to keep watch at his son's side, who he had condemned to certain death. And here, as always, the completed miniatures. If you enjoyed the video and want to support my channel, please like, share and subscribe, or leave a comment below. See you soon in my forge.